Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of the Author Spotlight. Hey, it's the host with the most, your man, Darren M. Palmer. Is so excited to be with you for a special, yes, I said special episode of the Author Spotlight. This is the Texas Black Expo edition of the Author Spotlight, where I will be able to go behind the scenes with those best-selling authors that you all will be able to meet at the summer celebration for the Texas Black Expo, where over 20,000 people will come upon Houston, Texas, to be able to experience, learn more, gather skills that they need to take back to the workforce, and all those vendors out there who want to get their resources out to a mass audience will be in attendance as well. So I got somebody on. I'm going to share a little bit about Tyria D. Jones. She is a Houston-based author and motivational speaker who has covered abusive relationships, self-esteem, and living the abundant life. Tyria has dedicated her life and personal story to fulfill God's purpose of helping women to heal, live a joyous life, love themselves, and walk in their purpose. Tyria captured the attention of women across the country when she wrote her memoir, A Crown of Beauty for Ashes, in which she shared her personal journey from surviving an abusive marriage and homelessness to living a life of victory in God. As a teen, Tyria found herself in an undesirable relationship that was the beginning of many obstacles she faced. Now, I shared a little bit about your bio, a little bit about you, Miss Jones, but please fill in any of the gaps or anything I might have left off, and I want to welcome you to the Author Spotlight.
Thank you. I am so glad to be here, and thank you for inviting me on your platform.
Anytime, Miss Jones, anytime.
Your reading of my bio was part of my story. The main thing that I want to convey is that my life right now is about empowering women to be the best versions of themselves. So whatever obstacles are in their way, whatever's holding them back to being that best version, that's what I wanted to help them to realize and to eliminate so that they can be who they're called to be.
I love it. I love it. I'm all about empowering the women. I mean, where would we be without the women? We thank God. I like to say, I thank God for the real. Thank God
Yes.
for the real. For those Bible scholars out there, y'all will pick up on that. Y'all will pick up on that. And if you don't mind, share with us with your background. You could have went you could have went a different route far as with the book, but why A Crown of Beauty for Ashes? Why that as your first book?
Believe it or not, I didn't know that I was even going to write. I've always been a person who journaled and wrote down my thoughts or whatever, but it wasn't until my current husband, he kept planting the seed. He kept saying, you have this in you, and there are so many women out there who need to hear your story because they are where you were. So upon years and years of encouragement, I decided to write the book, and it was just my goal just to get it written. I had no idea I was going to publish it. But again, constant encouragement from him, from my children to share our story because it's their story as well. And just the overwhelming response that I received from friends and family, I knew that that was supposed to be my first one.
I want to just I want to just pull something out. I want to extract something out of what you just shared there. For those who are aspiring to be authors, you need to understand the importance of who are in your surrounding, who's in your environment. Did you hear the encouraging word, the nudge by a husband, a helpmate? Did you see the nudge or whatnot by the family, friends, and loved ones? She was able to, that seed was planted, but it was able to sprout and grow because somebody was watering it. Somebody was allowing for some sunshine to be upon it. And at the same time, look at the fruit of that labor, because Miss Tyria is out empowering others, sowing seed, encouraging them that, hey, your past doesn't have to be your future. You can change it in your present. So I want to make sure that even though we're talking about this is what Miss Jones is all about. She's touching lives across the globe. But I don't want y'all to miss that, because some of you try to get too deep and, I don't know how to do it. She just gave you some information. Or it might be where can you encourage somebody else? You
Right.
know, as old preachers will say, don't shout me down when I'm preaching good today, Miss Jones. Y'all done got something started. But anyway, I want to move on to that because I just know how you touch lives. And I just wanted to make sure we shared that. It's one thing for you or someone to nudge you and say, you need to write a book or you got a great story. You know, it's plenty of people that has those. As we are well aware of, some of the best books are in the local cemetery because people
Mm-hmm.
never did get around to writing them or they didn't make the time, they didn't execute. So what made you believe that you could even write a book when so many had failed at the task, Miss Jones?
You know, I always like to say, like you said, you know, there are many who have stories because all of us have a story to share. I did it scared. You know, there are things that we encounter, but we can't allow fear to stop us from doing whatever it is that we know that we have in us. I had to believe that God placed it in me. And my prayer was, God, if it reaches just one woman, if it helps one woman get out of her toxic relationship, if it helps save one life. So that's the way I thought about it. I didn't think about it on a big scale. Okay, well, I'm going to reach thousands. I just wanted to reach one.
Ooh-wee. She dropping the value bombs, y'all. Don't let her fool y'all. Don't let that little innocent face fool y'all. Hey, she give you some value there. You know, we seen where Tyra has experienced homelessness. She had some relationships that it was rough, but she's been battle tested. See, her mess has turned into a message. That test has turned into a testimony. So when you look at your own life, think about what do you have? Because some people are looking at this, well, what would I need to share with somebody? I mean, who would want to hear about my bad relationship? Who would want to hear about some things that I have going on? There's glorious, I like that Hill song, Glorious Ruins,
Yeah.
because it shows you with the power of God, what can happen for you, even though it might look like that your life is ruined or it didn't start off with everything going right with the white picket fence and you had all this type of education and the dream job. It didn't work that way for you, but you still, with the help of God, you can turn this thing around. And so
Right.
knowing this, and you believe that you could write it because you wanted to reach somebody, having a big picture thought, or at least reaching one person, share with us as well. What are some of the hacks? Because you got quite a bit going on. You know, you married, you got life, is you just like anybody else out there that you got your own issues, you got to deal with, you got to help other people as well. So share with us, how did you get it done? Did you get up in the morning? Was it evening? Did you just record it? Give us some of the hacks how you created content for this amazing book.
You know, it's funny that you asked me that because once I did decide that, okay, I can do this, at the time I attended Lakewood Church. So at the time they had a life group that was just for people who were interested in writing. So I knew I would need the extra help from maybe a mentor. So I decided to join that group. And, you know, it was funny because God has perfect timing. The month that I joined that group, the leader was having a contest among people. She was saying, you can write your book in, you know, by the end of the year. And at that time, the end of the year was, you know, 3 months away. And I did not realize that I have a competitiveness in me. So I knew that I could do it. And I wanted to be one of the ones who did it. And it motivated me because I had the support of other people who were going the same path and wanted to write a book as well. And every meeting we had to have something down. So what I did is I set a schedule, just like you make a doctor's appointment, whatever, you put that on your calendar. And I'm organized. I live by my planner. So every day I would write for a certain number of hours. My family members knew it. Don't call me during this time because I can't talk. I can't schedule anything during this time. And I got it done in that 3-month time frame. And so you have to be disciplined. You have to say, okay, this is as important as eating. Because I looked at it this way. The longer it takes me to write that book, that's that one person who's not going to get the message they need. So I had to put it in terms of, okay, God is counting on me to get the assignment done.
Man, we're gonna have to do something. I think we're gonna have to call in the fire department. I think it's some flames coming up out this man. I'm telling you, Miss Jones. Now y'all just getting a little taste of what y'all gonna experience by hearing her share. She will be on the platform. She will be speaking at the Texas Black Expo. So you just hearing a little bit through this interview. I'm trying to hold her back right now. I don't want to get too loose. I'm trying to make sure she says something for the 8th and the 9th in Houston at the George R. Brown Center. But I want you to realize and glean from what she shared with us the opportunity cost. And so many of us look at it for ourselves. But I have a philosophy that I call CPR. You got to be capable, prepared, and ready to do whatever it takes. Because when you hear CPR, you know that it's an emergency. You can't just move around like a sloth if it's an emergency going on. And when you think about the content that you're creating, when you think about sharing your story in that manner, where you know that it's somebody that got a gun to their head and they waiting on your story to help them take that gun down. It's somebody who has an eating disorder, but they're waiting on to hear your story. It's somebody who don't know how they're going to make it in this toxic relationship that they're in. But your book is the thing that's going to help them get out of that situation. It's some young man that got, that's doing something deviant, but if he could get your word by your experience to see and have a different perspective, it would change his reality or her reality. So whoever you are out there, don't discount your story and realize, just like what Ms. Jones shared with us, the importance of it's somebody needing you. They might not get it from Steve Harvey, sweetheart. They might not get it from Oprah. Great. I love it. Wonderful book by Michelle Obama. But everybody isn't going to relate to Michelle Obama or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or whoever it might be. You have to know that it's somebody that God has placed you here to touch.
That's right.
Let me say that one more time. It's somebody that God has placed you here to touch. And it's a domino effect. Just like somebody touched Miss Tyra, the Lord put people in her life during those troubled times to allow for her to be able to pull up out of that hole with his assistance. The same way that he's allowing for her to pay it forward by pouring into all of us as well by her amazing story. So good thing is, though, Miss Jones, you don't look like what you've been through. Come on.
Yes.
Come on now. You don't look like what you've been through. That's nothing but the Lord. That's nothing but the Lord. There's nothing but the Lord. And speaking of that, you shared about that competitive spirit of wanting to excel and being with other go-getters to get the goal accomplished. But share with us, what did it mean when you know that your husband and others had poured into you, told you to go ahead and do it? After you looked at the time that was sacrificed. Also, I don't want us to get too cute. The investment. I don't want to speak Christianese because, we'll lose some folks on this show. The money that was put down for you to get it down. Let me go and put it out there plain. I don't want to make it plain because some people that go over their head when you start talking about money. But when it wasn't just the time. She put T&M, time and money into this process to get this done. But seeing the book and knowing that you are a published author, could you share some of the response or the feedback that you got, whether from your husband or others who read the book, and what it even meant to yourself, knowing that you accomplished this hairy audacious goal?
It's an amazing accomplishment to say, okay, I'm a published author, and not just that, to say that where I came from did not deter me and my past did not define who I was going to be the rest of my life. To say my children can see their story in words and they can say, okay, well, mom made it, so I know that I can make it. That's an encouragement to each one of them. And they have often, because they were young, part of it. My older two were a little bit older toward the end of the marriage, but some of the things that I shared in the book, no one knew, because I'm a private person anyway, and a secret like that, you don't tell anyone anything. And so my family members, they were all amazed because they remember the time period and they had no clue because I held it all together so well. And it just speaks to the fact that, we can look at people and we can think we know what's going on with them, but we have no idea what people are going through. We have no idea the battles that they're fighting internally, as well as, women who were in my situation fighting at their home. So we have to look at my story and see, okay, I can't judge from, what I see on the outside. I have to be spiritually in tune. Okay, God, who are you going to lead me to today? Who am I supposed to pray for today? But going back to your question, it's an amazing accomplishment. I have a degree, but writing that book meant so much more than my degree. Writing that book was like, okay, I can look at it and I can say, if I do nothing else, I followed God's plan for my life in that. And I was obedient in that. And that's the thing I keep going back to, just being obedient, just walking, because it's not about me. It's not about what I want. It's all about him and the plan that he has, not just for my life, but the people who are connected to me. And, I just think about my children, just what it's done for them. The feedback that I've gotten from them, they carry a certain pride that, okay, yes, this was a hard story, but, because she persevered, because she kept going, we made it. And now we can do the things that we're called to do.
That is powerful. It's that legacy piece.
Right.
Just think about now is no matter how daunting a task, your kids come in there with a perspective of this is what we do. We win. They
Right.
got they got a sense of, they got a confidence by what has been passed on from their mother. Seeing you be able to come through that, hey, when it get tough, because life will get tough. As some of the more seasoned, I ain't gonna say old, as some more seasoned people say, they will tell you just keep living. Just keep living. And if you keep living, then you will experience how life can get. But by them having that mental fortitude by what they've seen their mom or what you've exposed them to by creating this book, this legacy piece, it's something for generations to come that will be in your family where they will know this is who we are. I can be the senator of this state. I can accomplish being an entrepreneur. I can be a pastor or a leader, whatever the thing is during that time frame that person is in, or that generation that they're in. They know that they can do it because they've been able to see what you've been able to accomplish and do. And for those who are out there listening, what about you? Are you going to rewrite the history, rewrite the story of your family? Are you just going to allow for your family to be known for addictions? Are you going to allow for your family to be able to be known for lack? Or are you choosing for them to be known for abundance, pouring into people, not being convicts? Or let me say it as a wise man from Lakewood would say, not a victim, but a victor. Y'all didn't know I could bust a Joe. Y'all didn't know I spoke a little Joe. Y'all didn't know I spoke a little Joel over here. I'm just giving y'all just a little ski taste of what you're going to experience at the Texas Black Expo. I speak a little Joel too. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But so it's good to just see the amazing things that you're doing. But if you don't mind, because I really know that you share that you speak, we have individuals who listen to this show who are always looking to bring people in to speak, whether it's for their companies or their nonprofits, or even for their colleges or whatnot, at churches. So please share with them, Tyra, information, whether it's website, how they can buy the book, any information, how they can connect with you to get more of your services.
My website is tyradjones.com. First name is spelled with an I, Tyria D Jones.com. They can also reach me at my email at tyradjones@outlook.com. And then, of course, if they want to connect with me on Facebook or Instagram, it's the same handle, Tyria D Jones. So I'm consistent.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's how she got the book done, y'all. She's consistent. That's how she got it done. She's thorough with what she does. So I just want to just tell you so much, Tyra, that I really appreciate you. Tell your husband we appreciate you allowing for us to be able to borrow his wife for a little bit for this interview. And I'm just truly grateful to be able to connect with you. And I just wanted to share for those who are listening in, make sure that you come out June 8th through the 9th. You will be able to get a copy of the book if you want to just get it autographed in person by Ms. Tyria D. Jones. Also, you'll be able to hear her present. She'll be able to share. She's going to be able to cover different topics as well on a panel discussion. Also, she'll be able to just maybe even get some one-on-one time with you there or whatnot to see how y'all can connect and how she can come in and help your organization. So if you're not able just to get all this information, we weren't able to write it down because you might be commuting or you're on the treadmill or whatnot. We will have this information in the show notes. so you can make sure that you reach out to Miss Tyria D. Jones. But I just want to tell you, thank you, Tyra, for coming on to the show. But I got one request before we get off here today. I want you to speak to that person who might have been in the same situation that you were in, or it might be a little bit different, but they're thinking to themselves, I can see, because they're looking at you right now, and a lot of them don't really get it, what we said in the bio. So they really don't get the homelessness. They really don't know having to find a way to take care of your kids. They really don't know the insecurities that you had to overcome and your whole walk. But share with that person who might be feeling inferior, might be feeling like they just been spit out with life and they don't know how to move forward. And they think to themselves, I have a story too, but I'm not Michelle Obama. You know, I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Carlos Slim. Who would want to hear my story? Could you share with them the importance of why they should share their story with the world?
When I was what I call at my wit's end, I walked into a small church because a woman decided to offer me a helping hand. She knew the situation. I had shared my story with her. She did not realize that that night, had I not gone to church with her, I would have gone home and attempted to take my life as well as the life of my children. But she stepped out of her comfort zone to help me. And what I got from that is that God heard my cry. Even though I couldn't even pray for myself, God heard my cry. He heard my inner cry. So if you're in that situation, or if you're in a situation where you feel like there is no hope, you have to believe that He hears you, He sees you, He wants your heart's desire, which is what His plan is for your life, to come out of that, to be victorious, to be whole, to be healed, to be set free from the chains that have you bound. So whatever it takes, whether you have to cry out for help like I did, because I knew that if I didn't cry out for help, if I didn't share my story with her, I wouldn't be here today. Just say, I need you. Those 3 words, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a stranger. She was a stranger to me, but I took the chance that this woman of God would hear my heart's cry, and she would go to battle for me, because sometimes you need other people to go to the front lines for you on their knees. And that's what I got when I told her I needed her help. And so just believe that there is somebody out there that God has assigned to you to go to battle for you. You have to believe that, because you are important to Him. You're just as important as, like he said, Michelle Obama. You're important because He created you specifically to fulfill a purpose.
Girl, I'm telling you, that's like Campbell soup. That's good. That's good. That's good, Miss Jones. That's good. I love that. I love that. You are important. You are marvelously, wonderfully made. Make sure that you understand that. And I want y'all to leave, even though we want you to show up to the Texas Black Expo, hear more from Miss Jones. But something that I'm taking away from this as well, because I've had this experience too. You don't ever know what somebody's going through. You can see them. Right. You can see them at church. You can see them at the grocery store. You can see them at those little school functions or whatnot, and it can look like everything all right. So try your best to be kind. Look at being appreciative of what you have, you know, because this is something that we got to realize, you know, as we're recording this, it's quite a bit that's going on in the media with, you know, certain sports stars and their wives and all that kind of stuff going on. But I think by what you've been through, Miss Jones, I think that you and your spouse, you got a different appreciation for the Boaz the Lord gave you now, don't you?
Yes. Yes, because He is my Boaz. Yes.
That's it. That's it. Yes. And so, and he has appreciation for his queen that God has given him. And so I just want us to, our perception can be skewed, because sometimes you know, sometimes we can be too blessed, and we don't get it. You know, like us in the U.S., we think we know what poverty is. We have no clue what poverty is, and we just crying and whining over everything. And so I just want those who are out there right now, wherever you are, you can overcome this with the help. You heard what she shared, Miss Jones shared. I need thee. You know, you cry out to the Lord, and He will hear you cry. And make sure that you reach out to Miss Jones. Like I said, June 8th through 9th, she will be at the Texas Black Expo for the author spotlight. She will have a booth set up. She will have her books and other materials Also, you'll be able to catch her. Hopefully, you'll be able to get a picture with her, a selfie or whatnot. And we'll make sure that we have time where you can meet and greet her while she's there. But once again, thank you, Miss Jones, for coming on and just setting the podcast on fire. That's how
Thank
they
you for
do
having
it at
me.
Lakewood. That's how they do it at Lakewood. There's some great people at Lakewood.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And for those who are listening, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule for the special edition of the Texas Black Expo Author Spotlight of this podcast. So I just want to thank you again. Remember, this is the year for your new book. Be blessed and be great.